I don't see how then you can idolize a LeBron James, who we have seen. This is highly amusing to me because now LeBron James' legacy hinges on Kevin Durant.
LeBron's legacy is already LeBron's legacy is already.
It hinges on Kevin Durant.
Stop it.
Kevin Durant will determine whether LeBron James sinks or swims with the Lakers.
Skip Bayless has officially thrown gasoline on one of the biggest debates in basketball history. And this time, the target is not LeBron's stats, not his championships, not even his longevity. It is something way more personal. According to Skip, LeBron James's legacy is starting to collapse right in front of everybody watching. Not because he suddenly forgot how to play basketball, but because the image people once protected so aggressively is beginning to crack under pressure. And the scary part is that the conversation is no longer staying inside sports television. Fans, former players, analysts, and even neutral NBA viewers are starting to ask whether the final years of LeBron's career are changing how people will remember him forever. The entire argument exploded after another disappointing Lakers stretch, where expectations were sky high, but the results looked messy again. Skip Bayless did not focus on points per game or highlight plays. He zoomed in on something much bigger. He argued that every time adversity hits LeBron-led teams, the same cycle somehow repeats itself. Coaches become the issue, front offices become incompetent, teammates suddenly are not good enough, injuries become the headline, somebody else always ends up standing in front of the criticism first, and according to Skip, that pattern is slowly damaging the way people view LeBron's greatness, because true all-time legends are supposed to absorb chaos, not redirect it.
I will continue to criticize LeBron bleepin' James.
That is what made the take go viral so fast. Skip was not denying LeBron's talent because that argument died years ago. Nobody with credibility questions the greatness anymore. 4 championships, 20-plus years of dominance, the NBA's all-time leading scorer, a player who survived multiple eras and still remained elite deep into his late 30s. That part is untouchable, but Skip attacked the emotional side of the legacy, the leadership side, the accountability side, and once you touch that area of LeBron's career, the internet instantly turns into a battlefield. What fueled the conversation even more was the timing. The Lakers were once again dealing with pressure, criticism, and roster concerns. Instead of people only debating basketball strategy, the focus shifted toward LeBron's influence behind the scenes. Skip basically argued that LeBron has had more organizational power than almost any player in league history, yet somehow avoids equal responsibility when things collapse. That is the core of the criticism. If you help shape rosters, influence coaching decisions, and push front office direction, then fans expect you to own the failures too. Skip believes that balance has not always existed around LeBron conversations.
If you had a sit-down interview with him, what's like the first question you'd ask LeBron?
Why didn't you work on your free throws? It's an unguarded shot from 15 feet, and it's called a free throw because it's free. It's actually free.
Here's the part nobody is talking about. LeBron's image was built on more than basketball dominance. His entire career became connected to intelligence, leadership, player empowerment, and control. He was never just viewed as an athlete. He became the face of modern superstar influence. Players watched him change the way stars interact with organizations. He normalized athletes having power over team decisions. He mastered media control better than anyone before him. But that same power becomes dangerous when the results stop matching the expectations. Because the more influence a superstar has, the harder it becomes to separate him from the consequences of failure. Skip kept hammering that exact point. He argued that LeBron wants to operate like a decision-maker when things go right, but when teams fail, the conversation somehow drifts toward everybody else. According to Skip, that is why this phase of LeBron's career feels different. Fans are older now. The media landscape is different. People are re-examining the full story instead of just celebrating the accomplishments. And suddenly, moments from earlier in LeBron's career are getting revisited through a harsher lens. People started bringing up Cleveland, then Miami, then Cleveland again, then Los Angeles. In every chapter of LeBron's career, there were moments where teammates became the focus of criticism before LeBron did. Early Cleveland teams were labeled too weak. Chris Bosh became a punching bag in Miami during rough stretches. Kevin Love constantly faced criticism during the Cavaliers era, despite sacrificing huge parts of his game. Russell Westbrook became the center of blame in Los Angeles. Coaches rotated through pressure cycles. Front offices became targets. Skip's argument is that the pattern is simply too consistent to ignore anymore.
Scoopy Robinson, Stark said, LeBron is hurting his legacy by switching NBA teams so much that it affects his standing when it comes to LeBron versus Jordan debates. Mike didn't move around and didn't want to move around. He wanted to play against the best. He felt like he did need to go chase players to join his team. He just beat the best because he felt like he was the best.
Now, to be fair, some of those criticisms absolutely had truth behind them. The Cavaliers failed to build elite championship rosters early in LeBron's career. The Lakers made questionable roster decisions. Westbrook was clearly an awkward fit. Injuries ruined several promising seasons. Nobody serious denies those realities. But Skip's point was not that LeBron never had valid complaints. His point was that legendary leadership means publicly carrying the burden even when others deserve blame privately. That distinction is where this entire debate becomes emotional instead of statistical. The reason this conversation exploded so hard is because LeBron has spent 2 decades being compared directly to Michael Jordan. And when fans compare players at that level, the standards become almost unfairly personal. Jordan's image became tied to ruthless accountability and killer instinct. Kobe Bryant's legacy became attached to obsession and pressure. Tim Duncan became known for stability and sacrifice. So when Skip questions LeBron's leadership style, he is not just criticizing basketball decisions. He is challenging whether LeBron emotionally fits the image people attach to the greatest competitors ever.
True.
Because maybe he realized we can't win. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it looked like to me. All I'm saying is I expect great things from a great player. I've always...
Social media immediately split into war zones. LeBron supporters fired back by pointing at the impossible pressure he carried throughout his career. 8 straight finals trips do not happen without elite leadership. Younger players constantly praise his basketball IQ. Teammates talk about how much knowledge he shares. Supporters argue that no player in NBA history faced more expectations from age 18 onward and still delivered at this level for this long. But Skip's supporters pushed back even harder. They argued other legends dealt with flawed organizations too. Jordan struggled before Chicago built contenders. Kobe survived disastrous Lakers seasons. Dirk carried imperfect Mavericks teams for years. Yet somehow, LeBron conversations often end with somebody else becoming the reason things fell apart. That is exactly why Skip's comments resonated with certain fans. This is where it gets dangerous, because legacy debates stop being logical once leadership enters the discussion. Championships can be counted. Stats can be measured. Leadership is different. Leadership becomes emotional. Fans interpret it through personality, body language, and narratives. And once people emotionally decide who they believe, almost no amount of evidence changes their mind. Another reason the criticism feels louder today is because LeBron operates in the social media era. Every reaction becomes a headline. Every frustrated gesture gets clipped online. Every cryptic tweet becomes national news. Jordan never dealt with 24-hour sports debate culture. LeBron's career unfolded during the rise of non-stop digital storytelling, which makes perception more powerful than ever before. Several former players quietly echoed parts of the criticism afterward. Some analysts admitted there have been moments where LeBron publicly challenged teammates or indirectly criticized roster construction after losses. Critics feel those comments sometimes place extra pressure on role players already struggling under the spotlight. That is why names like Kevin Love and Westbrook constantly reappear in these conversations. Still, LeBron's supporters believe critics completely ignore the positive side. Players consistently choose to play with him. Former teammates praise his preparation constantly. Even opponents respect how he elevates offenses and controls games mentally. Both sides can point toward real examples, which is why this debate refuses to become simple. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They think influence automatically equals leadership. True leadership becomes visible when everything starts collapsing. Anybody can lead during championships and winning streaks. Real leadership gets tested when teammates lose confidence and organizations start panicking. That is the exact area Skip believes separates LeBron from other legends. The trap of player empowerment made everything worse. LeBron changed the NBA by proving superstars could influence organizations openly. But power removes excuses. If a player helps build the roster, fans expect accountability for roster problems. Skip's criticism basically revolves around that idea. What makes this fascinating is that both sides are arguing about completely different definitions of leadership. Supporters see leadership as elevating teammates and maintaining greatness over time. Critics see leadership as publicly absorbing blame and refusing to redirect responsibility during failure. Both definitions contain truth, which is why the debate never dies. The scary part for LeBron is that narratives become permanent near the end of careers. Every future Lakers failure now gets filtered through this conversation. Fair or unfair, the narrative is already growing legs. This debate is no longer just about basketball. It is about memory, about how future generations will interpret LeBron once the career is over. Once doubts about leadership attach themselves to a superstar, they never fully disappear. When pressure hits and seasons collapse, does LeBron James truly stand in front of the blame the way the greatest leaders do? Because if this criticism keeps resurfacing every time things unravel, the legacy conversation may be changing permanently right in front of our eyes.